So you've been building your latest EDH deck, or at least attempting to, and now you have no idea where else to take it. Well, let's talk about that. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for dropping by and your ongoing support. My name is Patrick, host of the EDH Brutality YouTube page, in which I open Magic gathering content and analysis on Wednesdays and Sundays. Today, we are discussing quite the controversial topic. Before we jump right into that, a quick and special thanks to patrons like you for making videos like this possible, in which we now have quite the selection of perks and rewards now over on my Patreon page, linked down in the description below for those looking to get the most out of all things Metal and Magic. But that's not what you're here for today. In fact, you're here probably because the title of this video, in which discusses the big bad AI. Now, respectfully speaking, it isn't too hard to go over on YouTube and see a plethora of videos with people utilizing artificial intelligence to build decks from scratch. And although this isn't inherently wrong, from a deck building standpoint, it is. Because let's be real, these decks that AI is spitting out are not only wrong, but they're dog shit.
It's dog shit.
That ain't dog shit.
Eat it.
Huh? That is dog shit!
And for many people, this is seen as a major red flag, especially within the creative field. But let's be honest here, Magic the Gathering is not inherently a creative field, at least morally speaking, when it comes to building your own kitchen table decks. Sure, there is some creativity to do with it, but ultimately it is a highly personal experience that for a vast majority of players will not affect a single soul. Because at its core, artificial intelligence is a tool for us to use to further elevate or perhaps even streamline our workflow. Now, this isn't to say that I am defending AI in any way, but there is a way in which we can utilize it which is morally correct to aid us in our deck building skills without becoming a complete vegetable up top ourselves. Let me explain. Let's pretend we went over to Scryfall and saw the commander Atog and were rather intrigued. And rather than thinking critically ourselves, we head on over to an AI like Grok, naming our commander, as well as a few other criteria, and allowing it to generate a response. Which is a horrible way to go about AI. Because not only is it an uninspired and unoriginal take, but once again, it's awful. In fact, let's take a look at what the AI cooked up. And here we are, the slop pile that AI cooked up for us. We have a Atog, and as you can see, this list contains 129 cards, already making it not legal. Not to mention, the price comes in around $5,000, which is way too overpriced for what we're getting. Now, of course, there are cards that do work within Atog lists, but you can really just tell none of these are really optimized, especially when you have cards such as Universal Automaton, which essentially is just a 1/1 for 1. Now, some people will go as far as trimming down the fats and using this as their base, but this is where I personally think people go wrong. Not to mention, AI just isn't that accurate and will not only suggest illegal cards for your deck, but will outright put the wrong effects in it. Which leads into the question, well, how do you use AI responsibly? And two, how to use it intelligently within your deck building? In which the answer is simple: revision. Taking my personal Atog list here, let's just say that I was playing this several times and I wanted to make a change. However, I was unsure of which cards were weak links. Of course, I have them all sorted by tags, and I have experience with the decks and the local meta, but sometimes the rose-colored glasses get stuck on and you need a little nudge. And this method can also be applied to your deck building choices when it comes to list finalization. For example, let's just say you have a completed or near complete list you would like to edit. We're going to go over to Moxield and choose bulk edits with all tags and individual cards listed, simply copying. Heading on over to AI, we are simply going to, in quotations, paste in our list, as well as give a description. For example, mine is, this is my Atog deck list. I am not suggesting you recommend me cards. Can you just inform me of what cards may be holding me back from a gameplay perspective and tell me why? Which not only is a morally correct to utilize AI within your deck critiques or perhaps even deck building, but still relies on you to be critically thinking. I for one do not use this method because quite frankly, I use some ridiculously jank brews that I'm not too confident AI is really going to realize what I'm trying to achieve. I mean, come on, who else is going to use Mishra's War Machine in a deck? It's certainly not going to be AI. But nonetheless, this is how I would utilize it and recommend others to use any prompts. So let's go ahead and see what was generated. Skimming through the response, it brushes up on my mana base and fixing issues, weaknesses to artifacts, hates, as well as the sheer number of lands that enter in tapped. It elaborates further on engine card draw, which bricks me if disrupted, as well as conditional cards within my own suites that once again lead to dead draws within the early game. The AI finishes off with, overall the deck has a strong identity and explosive potential with a Atog plus sacrifices plus fling effects plus good recursion. Main holds back elements are mana consistency and tap sources early, fragile artifact synergies, situational win cons and draws, and inherent variance of leaning heavily into a small tribe. It probably shines in grindy games but can struggle with speed, color screw, or interaction heavy pods. Tuning around consistency in those areas would smooth it out significantly. And I guess if the new card does come out and you need to take out one or two cards in which you can't decide upon, I guess this is where AI can help out too, at least if you don't have a friend group. But just to test that theory, let's see what Grok has to suggest, in which I'm going to input the prompt. If you had to take out two cards from my entire deck to fit room for others, what are the two weakest cards and why? In which I preface the why is the most important part of this whole prompt, because rather than an AI telling us a surefire answer, we can hear its reasoning behind it and essentially decide for ourselves. Will this work, however? Well, let's find out. And this is where I'd get careful with using AI to further make suggestions for decks, because I can already see it wants to cut Barren Glory as well as Male's Raya, which are my only two real win cons. Barren Glory being not only a real possibility, but flavor win, while Maya's Araya being a 3 mana enchantment, which can be easily fulfilled thanks to Atog's pump ability. And although the AI here does bring up some good points, in practice, those points fall through the cracks. Hey, I guess if you want to listen to everything artificial intelligence suggests, you'll just end up with, once again, the slop pile. Anywho, that's how I would suggest using AI in a responsible type of way. So did you agree or perhaps even disagree with my take? Feel free to let me know down in the comment section below, as well as if you've ever used AI for your own personal deck building and how it worked out for you. I personally think it is a rather sad thing to see many creators now resorting to the tools for their own decks they showcase here on the platform. So I felt if they're gonna do it, I may as well have the due diligence to make my recommendation on how to use it responsibly. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me, folks. We've got quite the exciting human-made deck techs coming up in the very near future. So if that interests you, if you want to stay tuned for future videos on the channel, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. So my name is Patrick, a host of EDH Brutality. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, guys. You know, with all these creators turning to AI, I wonder how many people are turning to AI to file their taxes. Oh, goodness gracious. They can't even get magic cards right. I can't even imagine. The IRS is going to have fun with that one. It's so ridiculous. And you're going to have fun with these videos. Go watch them before it's too late. Only a few more seconds to the video. Go watch them. Don't let YouTube recommend you other content. You're staying here. I'm out.